It's the hot button issue of the day. We've been talking about Governor Snyder unveiling his plan to radically overhaul Detroit public schools, part of a plan involving a 7-member school board that would oversee a new district in charge of education.
For now, 4 members would be appointed by the governor, 3 would be appointed by Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan. But within 6 years, all 7 of those members would be replaced with elected school board members, the first 2 elected in 2017.
And in the meantime, the old school board is saddled with the debt and how to get rid of it. Joining us now to discuss all this, political consultant Karen Dumas and Reverend David Bullock, who's been critical of lack of local control. We're going to start with you, Karen. First of all, is this an instance of government overreaching here, trying to control something here in Detroit?
Well, yeah, I think so, but also when we have proven time and time again that we're not able to handle it, we become susceptible to this kind of, and I don't want to use the word takeover, but as you saw in the earlier conversation, it's all about process and it's all about who's in control, and the kids still lose, in the conversation. We're not focusing on what we should be focusing on at this time. I mean, we really aren't.
The kids really, we didn't get a chance to say these statistics, but they just are really shocking. 6% proficient in math of high school students, only 4% proficient in science, 2/3 not proficient in reading. So obviously, however it's fixed, work needs to be done. I want to get to you, Reverend Bullock. Does it make you feel any better that there is a deadline for local control for that school board within the next 6 years?
I think it's a positive point of the plan that there is a possibility or a strategy that leads toward local control. This administration, the Snyder administration, has been an administration that has destroyed democracy in school districts and municipalities. And so I think we have to focus on educating our children. And the question is this: we've got the EAA, you've got DPS. Now there's a plan for a new DPS. Does creating a new school district really get to the root of the problem, and does it really give us strategies for making sure our children are prepared for a global economy?
All right, we'll talk about that more in a second. Obviously, part of the plan calls for Mayor Duggan to appoint members, as the governor outlined it today, but the mayor told the Detroit News he's disappointed in Governor Snyder's proposal. He says, and we're going to quote here, "State control of local schools is bad, and it's been a failure in Detroit." Duggan added the state's been in control for the last 4 years. It's been 4 years of deficits and poor performance. He says, "I think schools are much better managed under local control." So does that change the dynamic here on any of this here? And we'll start out with you, Mr. Bullock.
No, I don't think it changes.
Oh, go ahead, Karen. We'll start with you, and then we'll go to Mr. Bullock.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't think it changes the dynamic. I mean, certainly the mayor is elected to protect the interest of the residents here in the city of Detroit, and that's what he's doing. But again, I don't think that this is necessarily the answer. And we've talked about Governor Snyder wanting to run for president. Maybe he is looking for a position instead as Secretary of Education. That's yet to be seen. But I just don't think that this is a viable solution. And again, we keep losing priority about the children and their performance. We have a literacy rate here of 50%. We have generationally turned out underprepared students, and we're seeing that in a compromised customer and employee base in the metropolitan area.
Part of this plan relies on Lansing's approval. You know that, but they don't really seem too excited about this. Here's what they told our Jim Kurtzner today. Take a listen, both of you.
I am not going to cut a check. I'll be no part of that. There will be strong reforms, both the education and financial reforms, that will come with any plan that the House is a part of.
I think it'll be a tough slog over our caucus.
Issue?
I think a lot of it. This is about adults and debt. There's nothing in there about kids.
I don't think there's any question about it. Things have gotten much worse in the Detroit public school system since and because of the state takeover of the district. It has been a failure.
So, Reverend Bullock, the mayor's not excited about it. State lawmakers aren't excited about this plan, but everybody agrees something has to be done. Suggestions?
You know what? Something has to be done, but the fact that both Democrats and Republicans are agreeing that this is not the right move, I think should send signals to the governor's office. We all agree that since Lansing has been in control of education in Detroit, Detroit's educational system has exploded. It has been depressed. It has decreased. And so Lansing controlling Detroit's education is not the answer. What are some solutions? Let's give local control back. Let's let the elected school board, the school board members elected by citizens, by parents, have some control, have all control over academic and financial questions. Let's get the parents back involved in the school, and let's move away from just standardized testing to a curriculum that actually ties our children to a globalized, knowledge-based economy and entrepreneurship. These are some tough questions, but Lansing taking over is not the answer.
Karen, I want to end here. This is really fueling some speculation that Governor Snyder is possibly gearing up maybe for a presidential run. Our Ross Jones asked him about that today, and here's what the governor had to say about that.
You are considering a run for president. You have said that. Can you really introduce a plan like this and then go run for president? Doesn't this need to take all of your time?
Well, again, there's a lot of speculation out on that whole topic. I haven't said I'm running.
But you are considering.
What I'm saying is I hope we have a problem solver out there running. And as a practical matter, I think we're doing well in terms of the stuff going on in the state, and I'm still working hard. This is important to me, and I'm passionate about it. I've been out doing road funding issues for the vote next week, and I'll work hard on getting better education in all of Michigan.
Yeah, Karen, and actually you mentioned a minute ago maybe he's actually positioning for an education secretary spot or something, but does that look like he's running for something?
Well, everything sounds like he's running for something, but I've heard that he wants a cabinet position, and like I said, if he wants to be Secretary of Education, the proof is going to be in the pudding in his proposal as he released today.
All right, Karen, thank you very much. Reverend Bullock, thank you also for your time today, and we're going to continue watching this and what happens on there.